Hi there, beautiful soul. Hey, what if you got ill because you were living a life you were not supposed to be living? And this is a totally upside down question, of course. But what if your previous life and the life still in recovery is all based on fear and therefore not stepping into your own energy, not stepping into life, not stepping into your soul's plan of how life should look like because of a fear, living a life via to-do list, living a calculated, pre-planned life where your day is already full for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, where you know what's going to happen every day? Is that really life? You see, I think that when we have been through what I think a brainwashing process in our society, is that we think that it started that we think that we needed to become something. That was basically giving us the message that we have to become something because we are nothing. So you get a job. That's basically what society is based around. But what if that job is based on fear? Imagine there are so many ways to get your income. One of them is to trade your time for a couple dollars or euros. But what if that is just a method that is basically saying to life that you do not trust it? You don't trust life to come with it to you what you need. So therefore you trade your time and then you can, work. You sell your time, 40 hours or maybe even more a week. And you're doing something that doesn't really create a spark inside of your soul. Then you are a little bit fearful. You get into a house or an apartment which is actually really cut off from the earth. If you think about it, you do not even feel the weather and all the things. It's not really grounded. So you're not in contact with Mother Earth. And you go to the shop, to the supermarket for shopping. And that doesn't really feel like living, does it? Then you step into your car to go to your job. And there you spend 8 hours on a desk or something. That doesn't really feel like living to me. And then maybe the worst thing of all is to pay your house. You need a mortgage. And then you need to pay off that mortgage. And every time what you're basically saying is you do not trust life. And although you do not see this as fear, because, we buy off the fear by doing something. So there is fear. And we react from that fear to do something like getting a job or whatever. And it's not to say that all these things like getting a job is living a life from fear. It doesn't have to be like that. But for most of us, it is actually what we're doing. And for some of us, maybe myself included in the past, even our friends was based on fear. It was a method to not be alone with myself, to deal with my own issues, with my own emotions, with my own feeling of discomfort or my feeling of loneliness, and I could please them and everything. So even with friends was based on fear. And the joy that we were having wasn't joy at all. It was just distraction. And then we get older and of course none of this stuff really helps us. It doesn't bring us to safety at all. But we think it is safety, but we still don't feel safe. So we go on, we accumulate stuff and objects in our life, which will in the end imprison us. So that's basically what society thinks how your life should look like. And maybe it is for that reason that we all think in our childhood that life is sort of finished when you're in your 30s, because then everything needs to be settled. You need to have a house, you need to have children, and happily ever after, which rarely exists. But what if you really step into the unknown of life and do what really makes you feel good, when you're connected probably to nature, to your soul, you're laughing and you do not plan at all. And life doesn't feel like a drag where your list of to-do lists is just making you feel crazy. Because before I got ill in 2015, I already had like irritable bowel syndrome and I had to deal with that, and I read that like several small meals during the day was the way to go. So that was my mind approach of dealing with that. And that made my day just even fuller because I needed to have different foods. I needed to cook more times. It was just crazy, the things that I had to think about. Because basically I did not trust life. And then we come at a point where you get ill with chronic fatigue syndrome. And maybe chronic fatigue syndrome is just a signal of your body as well. You're not living your life. You're living someone else's life. So what we do then? Then we do we only do the essential stuff, like going to the supermarket, maybe even working in the beginning. So we actually do only the fear stuff. But yeah, so we subtract the stuff that actually give us joy from our lives to be able to cope with that. And then things go downhill very, very fast, usually. So with this video, I'd like to give you a different perspective. And maybe you already know what to do in order to step into your own soul's energy, to step into life, to step into nature, and do the things that you really want to do. Things that you thought that I want to do them, but they're impossible. Society told me that I cannot do these things. And you will find out that you will need less and less and less. And that the safety from society is making you ill, and therefore not safe at all. So we come to the eternal battle as well of safety versus freedom. And when safety wins, we're not living our life, do we? If a lion in a cage is safe because he gets his food, but he winds away there, or a lion in nature not knowing if he can get his next meal, just completely have to rely on trust and on, let's say, God or the source, that primal trust, do you still have that? Have a beautiful day. Thank you for watching.